We can use column multiplication to multiply two 3-digit numbers. But now we'll need to leave 3 lines before our answer, because in the first line we'll be multiplying by our units, so multiplying by 2. Then in the second line we'll multiply by our tens, so by our 4 tens here. And in the third line we're multiplying by our hundreds, so by our 100. So let's get started. 7 times 2 is 14, so 1, 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, so 1, 1. And 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Now on to our second line. So because this 4 really stands for 4 tens, we write 0 in our units before multiplying by 4. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. And 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Now we can move on to our third line, but listen carefully, because our third line is where we multiply by our hundreds. We don't just need a 0 in our units, but in our tens as well. That way, when we're multiplying 257 by 1, we'll have the answer to 257 times 100 written on this line. So 7 times 1 is 7, 5 times 1 is 5, 2 times 1 is 2. So now we have 3 lines to add up, and we might want to cross out these small numbers now so that we make sure that they don't get added to our total. But adding up those 3 lines gives us our answer, 36,490. So now pause the video and try 741 times 256 using column multiplication. So in this first line we're multiplying by 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 4 times 6 is 24. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 2 is 44. Now onto this second line, so we need a 0 in our units. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 5 is 20, so 2, 0. And 7 times 5 is 35, plus 2 is 37. Now we move on to our third line, where we're multiplying by our 2 hundreds. But because we're multiplying by hundreds, we need zeros in our units and also in our tens before we can start. Now 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8, and 7 times 2 is 14. So now we add up our 3 lines to get our answer, 189,690.